Right, we come on to water in this exploration of the medicine wheel with chaos as our foundation. And so it's an exploration as we go along of what that might mean. And it's there because we're in a unique position. Um, we don't have tradition, and that is a loss, but it's also a gain because it means we're free to, well, what is the essence of all these things? You have all these different ways around the world. There's something universal about them. What is it that's universal? What is the heart of it? Um, what is it that it's getting at? And it's this connection to nature, this connection to the natural world, the softness and the care the natural world gives us. And that brings us straight into water, the south of the wheel, or rather rain. I said that water is, in a way, it's an abstraction. It's not really, but it kind of is because it's a generality, whereas rain is more specific. Yeah. We see it running down the window pane like tears, tears of sorrow and tears of joy. That's the place we're at. We're in something very personal now. We began with this bigger thing, yeah, the sun, fire, warmth, initiation, inspiration, all those sorts of qualities, new life bubbling in. Uh, and where does it go to? Well, it can go straight across the wheel into the body. Uh, and it can also, well, it does. It goes round the wheel as well into the emotions. And that's where we learn how to live with it. It's the fire that keeps our emotions bubbling up. Um, we don't have control over what we feel. They're a mystery. We don't even know what we're feeling, let alone where the feelings come from half the time. Well, particularly maybe schematically if you're a bloke. Particularly you haven't got much water in your chart astrologically. Those kinds of things. Or it takes longer to know what you're feeling. So that's the first task of this place, rain, is to pay attention to what you're feeling. And that happens in your body, in the trunk of your body. Feel it in your heart and in your stomach and right through you, what you're feeling. And we pay attention to that. The big learning of this water place is about paying attention to feeling and living from that. That's what we forget to do. And why is water feeling? Because it moves a bit. Yeah. It's not like air or wind, which moves all over the place instantly. And that's like thought. Yeah? And it's not like earth, which is still, like the body. Yeah? And it's not like fire either, which moves pretty fast also. It roars upwards, this soaring inspiration. But it moves and yet it's contained. It describes well these currents that go through us. So we pay attention to what we feel. We try and live from that place. And then there's the element of trust. I guess I've learned to come from trust in the way I do these videos, in the way I teach. I haven't got a notepad with it all written down. I've got a few ideas to talk from, and I just let it unfold. And there is something very traditional about this. And you are trusting in the process. Yeah. Just begin with the trust element of that. Because trust is what we come in with as a baby. We trust in our mother. Our existence is founded on trusting that we are taken care of. Yeah? That's where our psychological security comes from. So, in a way, the basic emotion, you could argue, is trust. And we're not just cared for by our physical mother. When we get older, our physical mother has done her job. Yeah? So we release her from that. We thank her for that. And we discover the earth as our mother. The earth takes care of us. I mean, the earth is also red in tooth and claw. Yeah. But for now, we're just concentrating on this benign, caring aspect. So when I used to have this native Canadian guy come and stay with me, when he did a storytellings, I mean, you know how in the West, if someone's telling a story, they have it all prepared beforehand, um, and then they tell it, and that's great. And I love going to storytellings myself, and they belong to the North, so we'll come to that in the air element. Yeah, the stories that tell us our place in the cosmos, show us how to orient. Anyway, back to the South. Um, but he didn't work that way. First of all, he didn't need to prepare his stories because he'd been traditionally trained in dozens and dozens of them. Because he was sort of singled out as, all right, here's a sort of wise man or healer or whatever at a young age. And he was trained in the tradition and he knew them all. And he knew the meanings. He knew how to expound them all. And so at a storytelling, he would ask people to ask questions about something that was relevant to their life at the moment, one after the other. So one person would ask a question, then another, and then another. And at a certain point, a story would present itself to him to tell in response to the audience. And that's what he would do. Wouldn't necessarily be able to explain it rationally, but that's what he would do. And that's a certain kind of trust. You just trust in what's happening, and that enables you to be responsive. And you can tell the difference, can't you? If I was reading out of a script here, it would be very different. And sometimes it's necessary to do that. You're reading out a paper or whatever, but it's not half as alive, because what matters is that kind of aliveness. And the play plays another aspect of it, because the water place, when we just live spontaneously in feeling, that's what the child does. Children know what they want. We adults, we don't always know what we want. We can end up confused, but no, they know what they want. Yeah. And we need to go back to that. We need to keep it, not even go back to it. We need to always keep it, that playful element. I like to sometimes read children's books. Yeah. Winnie the Pooh, Alice in Wonderland, stuff like that. And it brings you back into that. But also creativity. This water place is a place of creativity, because if your creativity isn't play, it's not really the full shebang. Yeah, it's got a big bit missing. So these videos I'm doing, they're play. Yeah, I've got to enjoy them. Yeah, or I won't really communicate what I have to say. I won't communicate my being, because it's communicating my being as much as what the words I use that matters. And you get a take on it, because you see that play, it becomes joy. This is also a water place. Joy, which is different to like ordinary happiness, ordinary contentment. Yeah, when there's something you wanted and you've got it. Yeah, it's dependent on the external. You've got a happy family, you've got a good job, you've got all those things, and you're content and you're happy, and that's great and that's good when that happens. But then there's something else. There's an inner joy. Yeah, when we're answering a call deep within us and living from that. It depends on being with it, expressing it, creating from that place. And then there's joy. And it has the spontaneity that the child has when the child plays. So that in a way, the child experiences joy. And the adult experiences joy when we remember to go back to that child place. Trust. Well, I'll continue with that one in the next one, I think. Because the child, in a way, has a naive trust. And we have a different type of trust to find. It's not a naive trust. In fact, in a way, it's a deeper trust, because it's like Job in the Bible. God took everything from him and he kept his faith. Yeah. Another word for it is faith in life. Yeah. That there's this current faith in the fire, really. Yeah. That you can still see that fire and it still keeps you happy. Okay. See you next time.